guys, I am so excited about my next guest because I remember Yogi Berra, although his career came to an end when I was a youngster. But looking at the laundry list of all these stats that he's accumulated, and it's just amazing. I guess his best stat though is probably that his son made it to the major leagues. But he's very accomplished. And there's a movie, a new documentary out called "It Ain't Over." And these yogiisms that he had, it ain't over. When you get to the fork in the road, take it. Yogi Berra is an American icon, probably the most misunderstood American icon in baseball history. Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room the son of the Hall of Fame legendary catcher from the New York Yankees, Yogi Berra. Let's welcome in his son, Dale Berra. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning. How you doing, Billy?
Hey, Dale, I got to tell you, man, I remember you playing for the Pirates back in the day, and it didn't really resonate with me about that accomplishment. Like, your dad was such a legendary player, but, you making it to the major leagues was probably his best accomplishment.
I wouldn't go that far. He was nothing more. This movie is nothing more than a celebration of his life. He was a selfless, courageous, heroic, humble man who treated everyone kind without trying.
Right.
That is what made him so special. And and he treated us sons the same exact way. We had no idea we were special. I mean, I know it's very difficult to believe playing catch in your backyard with Mickey Mantle or Tom Seaver seems normal, which it wasn't. But somehow he made me and my brothers think it was normal and that we weren't special. And that was always his goal.
Dale, you know what amazes me is you look at your father. I watched the trailer a few times. The picture of you with your brothers and your dad, and then his picture in the Navy. He served our country, and then with all the accomplishments, 10-time World Series champion with the Yankees, 18-time American League All-Star, 3-time AL MVP winner. I mean, the list goes on and on. But the one thing that we noticed on this sheet, by the way, it's a lengthy sheet of all his accomplishments, so we'll get into a lot of them, is that he caught a record 184 shutouts in his career, but he also he started as a catcher at both ends of a doubleheader 145 times in his career. I don't think you'll ever see that again.
No, simply that boiled down to Casey Stengel not being able to play without him. I mean, there were times, I remember Dad telling me there were times when Dad would go to Casey and say, "Hey, Case, give me a day off." And he would literally say to him, "Yogi, I can't play without you, kid."
That's amazing. So growing up the son of Yogi Berra, you guys didn't feel like it was just normal to go have a catch with Mickey Mantle or these guys? It didn't even seem like it was like a big deal to you?
For some reason, it just didn't. I happen to know, obviously, the sons of many major league players. I know Mickey's kids. I know Whitey's kids. I know Willie Stargell's kid. They felt pressure. There was something about the way they thought about that they couldn't live up to their dad's legacy. And for some reason, I and my brothers never felt this, and I can't tell you why. Because I don't know. I remember in being in the minor leagues and in the big leagues, people yelling from the stands, "You'll never be as good as your old man."
Oh, really?
And I would say, who is? I'd wave rather than wave my hand at him and give him some kind of smirk. I would just agree with him. I'd say, "Yeah, you're right. Who is?" And then they would wave. So it's just the way I felt somehow. I felt far more pressure being a first-round draft pick. I felt far more pressure, having to prove myself in the minor leagues. My name or who my dad was just never entered into the conversation.
Well, see,
my thoughts.
Hey, Dale, I got to tell you this. There's no nepotism in sports. I mean, you got to earn it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter who your last name is. I mean, if you're not hitting the ball, you're not going to the bigs.
It doesn't matter whether you get drafted through nepotism or somebody knows somebody. You have to win your peers, the people you play with and the people that you play against. Those are your peers. Those are the people that you have to prove yourself to. I remember Bill Madlock telling me, "You ain't the best shortstop in the league, but you're the best we have." So, that's all. I just did my job, went out there and played, and marveled at the ability of the Hall of Famers and great players I played around.
We're talking with the son of legendary Yankees catcher Yogi Berra. Dale Berra's joining us. Of course, there's a new documentary out called "It Ain't Over." Dale, how emotional did you get watching the movie, the documentary?
Oh my gosh! I
know you're Italian, so you're probably boo-hooing, right?
It's strange. I get very emotional about it because really I was too dumb, and I say that in all candor. I was too dumb to appreciate and use my dad's, everything that my dad brought to the table in real time. I took it for granted and wasn't smart enough, as most people are, to use it and apply it in my own life and apply it to my own career. I mean, Dad's approach to hitting was just insane. He was literally never afraid. I have talked everybody that I ever played, whoever managed, coached me, or any executive, all played against Dad. And the affirmation that they give me about your dad, oh my God, we had no idea how to pitch to him. We couldn't strike him out. From the seventh inning on, there wasn't a person in the league we would rather that scared us like your dad did. He was just an amazing player, and he did it without being afraid somehow. So that's the big thing that I took from his career. Is one time he told me, "Hey kid, what do you think about with the bases loaded and less than 2 outs?" And I said, "Well, don't hit into a double play. At least hit a fly ball. Don't strike out. Whatever you do, try to get the ball in the airborne. You got to get the sack. You do something." He goes, "You think about all that?" I said, "Yeah. What'd you think about that?" He goes, "Nothing." In trouble.
He kept it simple.
He said, "The pitcher's in trouble." I said, "The pitcher's in trouble. You didn't think about like what you had to do?" He goes, No, for what?" He goes, "That guy's in trouble. He's the guy who walked the bases loaded or gave up hits. He's the one who's scared.
Oh, that's funny.
All he has to throw me a strike." He goes, "They go a long way when they throw me strikes."
Dale,
that's the way he thought.
Dale, your father obviously was a great teammate. He played in the shadows of some great guys, Mickey Mantle, just all the great
Joe DiMaggio,
all the great Yankees. I mean, did that ever bother him?
No, not at all. He loved those guys. He loved those guys. What bothered us as a family after the fact is that when people said Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Jeter, what? Where's Berra?
Where's Berra?
Where's Berra?
That's why I'm glad. That's why I'm glad this documentary's out.
Yogi.
Dale, that's why.
How do you forget the guy? How do you forget the guy that bridged DiMaggio and Mantle with 3 MVPs and led the team in RBIs 7 straight years?
Yeah, I'll tell you
Just
what.
An amazing thing.
I'm looking. I've got it in the sheet of Yogi Berra's stats. And it just goes on and on and on. It's like unbelievable. For instance, World Series records that still stand today. 21 World Series appearances as a player and coach and a manager. 10 World Series championships as a player. 75 World Series games that he appeared in. Recorded 259 at-bats. A record 71 hits. A record 30 assists by a catcher in the World Series. I mean, it just goes on and on, Dale.
Yeah. He was an amazing player, and he did some little things. He was embarrassed to strike out, so he promptly hit more home runs in 5 straight years than he struck out. And he used to kid me. I tell you what, he wasn't always that nice, and he wasn't always that gentle with his approach either. I remember one time Don Sutton struck me out 3 times in a game at Three River Stadium, and I get a call in the dugout. The trainer goes, "Your dad's on the phone." I said, "My dad's on the phone? What are you talking about? He's managing in Kansas City." He goes, "It's between innings in Kansas City. He's on the phone." And I get on the phone and I say, "Dad, what the hell? You're managing." He goes, "It's between innings. Don't worry about it." He said, "I see you struck out 3 times against Sutton. You going to go for 4? He goes, "I didn't strike out 4 times in a month." He goes, "Put the bat on the ball." And he hung up.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
No, and you know what? And I didn't, not for 1 second did I take that as did I think that was mean spirited or did I hold a grudge or resentment? I thought it was funny. I laughed and I tried to get a base hit the next time up. As easy as that.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, so I have a quick question for you, Dale. This is Andrew Leeds, and you yourself won a World Series back in '79 with the Pirates, and I just wanted to ask, what was that moment like, both for you as an individual player and that moment with you and your father, sharing that moment together as father and son both winning? Obviously, he won 10, but you winning a World Series. How was that like for you?
You know what? He was so used to winning. I think he just expected us to win, and he knew. He knew the Pirates were a good team, and he knew that we could contend for a World Series, and he expected us to play and win a World Series at some point during those late 70s when we were a stacked team. So it did not surprise him at all that we won, and of course he was extremely proud. He was extremely proud of the contribution I made, especially in September. So that I was, that was always a big highlight of both our lives.
Hey, Dale, quick question. This is Danny Ryan, the producer, but I know we've been talking a lot about your career, a lot about your father's career, and you guys obviously shared the love for the game of baseball. But overall, what was your favorite memory ever with your father, whether it be, him commenting on your career, you commenting on his, or just, as father and son? What was your favorite memory all time of Yogi Berra?
You know what? Just being a dad. Literally going to our Dad was a three-sport advocate to the point where he thought the most important thing was that you keep playing and to not play baseball year-round. He always said, play soccer, play football, play hockey, do anything. It'll make you a better baseball player. My greatest memories are him and us going to my brother's games in another sport other than baseball. Watching my brother Timmy play football in the NFL. He played with the Baltimore Colts.
Oh, how about that? I didn't know that.
We went to all of his football games at UMass. We watched my brother Larry play basketball, and I'm a huge hockey fan. Played hockey my whole life in high school, and that man never missed a hockey game of mine, ever. More concerned about that than baseball.
That's unbelievable. You grew up in Montclair. You went to Montclair High School. So how much time especially during baseball season, you don't get a chance to sit around a table and have dinner, say grace and whatnot. Those kind of days are good. But did you get a chance to do that with your dad?
Very fortunate that we were not a traded guy. The guy spent his whole career in New York while we were growing up. So he was home all the time, all winter, all winter. As soon as the World Series was over, and he came home every night. The only time he wasn't home was when he was on a road trip.
Right.
So we always had dinner together.
That's awesome. Dale, listen, man, I'll tell you what, such a wonderful story. I know you're proud of your father, and so is the Berra family. I encourage everybody to go see the documentary, It Ain't Over, the documentary of the most understood American icon in baseball, Yogi Berra. Dale, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks for having me. I got tons of stories.
Yeah, we'll have you back on.
I'm going to leave you with my favorite story. And it describes Dad's approach to baseball. You can't hit and think at the same time. That's it. And, that is nothing more than a 1948 version of being in the zone.
Yeah.
You don't think when you play this game. Michael Jordan didn't think. Wayne Gretzky didn't think. And my dad didn't think.
Awesome.
That's why they were so good. I thought way, way, way too much.
Yeah. All right, Dale. Listen, man, thanks a lot. We'll have a great rest of your Sunday. And, hey, we'll have you on again.
Anytime. Just give me a call. You got my number.
Great. Thank you, Dale. There he is, Dale Berra, the son of Yogi Berra, on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. I encourage everybody to check out the new documentary, It Ain't Over.